Hello, P-Win community. Good afternoon and welcome to Phenomenology, the talk show with your girl, Empowerment Life Coach Sharice L. Irby Castle. And so, as always, I am just incredibly enthusiastic, we'll use that word, about today's Phenomenology show. So I know you see this phenom sitting next to me right here. So I don't even have to, look, y'all already know who she is. So you all should be sharing this video. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to ask you to get your pen, get some paper, get ready, because she's getting ready to drop some nuggets that you're going to want to take some notes so that you can refer back to. So let me also say I am so honored that all of you are watching. I continue to get the feedback. When I see you all out at the events, out in those streets, you're giving me the feedback. You're coming up to me. You're letting me know that you're watching Phenomenology, what your best episodes are, and what you're getting out of the show. I really appreciate that. So thank you so much. Sometimes you guys just almost, bring me to tears. I really appreciate the shout outs. I appreciate you coming up and letting me know what phenomenology means to you. After all, we're here to talk about the science of being phenomenal. So, without any further delay, let me bring in my guest. Okay, Phenom Marci Batiste. How are you, girl?
I'm awesome. I'm fabulous.
Oh, I'm excited to have her here. So this is, of course, her first time in Phenomenology, and Marci and I keep seeing each other out. I believe it was at Sierra and Lisa's event where we got to meet each other face to face. We were, I know I was following her on social media, so I knew of you from social media, but I think that was our first face-to-face connection.
I think it was too, yeah.
And she was a speaker. She was on the panel, and she was a speaker at that event. And your story and just what you've gone through and what you represent for women is just phenomenal.
Thank you.
The fact that you are sitting here is phenomenal.
It's been a long time coming. I've been trying to get this going for a while.
Absolutely. So here we are. So I'm gonna stop talking. So Marci, tell the P-Win community, who's Marci? Who are you? Where are you from? How'd you grow up? What's happening? Let us know who you are.
Okay, who am I? Let's see. I'm an Iowa girl. So I'm actually born and raised in Iowa. I moved to Arizona about 9 years ago.
Woo-hoo!
And it was to accept an opportunity, a career opportunity, and to take on some new challenges. And I've always been one to want to make that next adventure and take that next step and do more and be bigger and be smarter and learn more. So lifelong learning, and it was a great opportunity for me to actually come out here. I was working in the financial services industry, and so actually starting a bank from starting this market for a financial institution and actually being able to go ground up and build up that market.
You talk about shattering glass ceilings, girl.
Well, and it was funny because I was thinking, and I said, I'm the first African-American vice president of that financial institution to do that. So I was like, you know what?
Awesome. Yes. That's winning.
Like, right, but think about, as we go around and we do and we do and we do and we give and we give and we pour out, we don't really think and recognize sometimes when we're, doing something that is actually really, really amazing and something that's, history making, actually.
Because you're putting in the work. You're so busy putting in the work,
right,
getting results, driving those outcomes, making it happen. You don't take the time to turn around and say, okay, how far have I really come? And what are the inroads that I'm making? You're just building and you're making it happen. And you're going to that next level. And you're opening up new base and new regions. And you're doing all that kind of stuff. So when we talk about winning and first, that's huge.
Yeah, it was huge, and it was really incredible to me when I first really recognized that really, when you talk about the glass ceiling, I don't really believe there is a glass ceiling. I believe that the glass ceiling is all in our imagination, and so maybe that's part of why I never see that there's a ceiling for myself, because I don't really take too much stock into that. I just think that if you, to your point, if you put in the work, you make the effort, good things are going to happen, good results are going to happen, and you continually sowing good seeds in good soil, bountiful harvest.
So Iowa's very different than Arizona. So how was that transition for you? You've been here 9 years. So how was that transition?
Culture shock to begin with. culture shock. The diversity is tremendous out here in comparison to Iowa. And so learning to be and navigate in a different environment, learning to figure out where I fit in. And, you know, that was one of my struggles that I shared in my first book, Journey to Find Your Butterfly Potential, was that I never really had my own identity. Okay. And so I kind of always struggled to figure out, who am I? Where do I fit in? What am I supposed to, who am I? Mm-hmm. And so I never really had that. And it was fun because when I remember leaving Iowa and I said to myself, okay, you're going to do this. You're committed. You've made this shift. But what's that going to mean? And what I told myself when I left Iowa was, when you get to Arizona, you can be whoever you want to be. So I got to create who I wanted to be and how I wanted to be addressed and how I wanted to be recognized and how I wanted to be referred to, versus when I was in Iowa, it was, you know, history. Right. And so people know you from the whole time you're growing up. You got the same friends from elementary school and junior high and high school and college. And so it was interesting, because when I came out here, I didn't know anybody. Wow. Not one person. And so that was my commitment to myself, was really to come out here, figure out, who are you, what do you stand for, and how do you want to be recognized. And it took a while to kind of get it. The first year, I kept wanting to run back home, like, oh gosh, I think that, I don't, well, and I lived in Maricopa, so that was before Maricopa didn't have a Walmart or anything.
It was nothing.
Nothing there. Right. And so I was cut off from the city. I was cut off really from meeting people because of the traffic constraints and my full-time job. And so that first year I said, okay, that didn't go so well, but I don't really think that a year is enough time. So I'm coming off of 40 years over here, so let me figure out what's going on here. And so I said, okay, I'm going to move to the city and see if that changes things. But the other thing that I realized is that no matter, like, when I was 386 pounds and I lost 200, but I didn't shift the mindset. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And so the same thing happened when I changed locations.
So did you lose the weight in Iowa, or you got here, or was it a process between both?
That started in Iowa. Okay. So I had lost about 150 or so when I moved here, lost the other 50 or so once I got here. Okay. But I still had that 386 pound mindset. And so the same thing happened when I left Maricopa and I moved into the city. I still had this isolated mindset. And so I had to break through that and say, okay, if you want, like, how are you going to fix this? Because this is something that only you can control. So what is it about your mindset? And so it was that, I had always been that invisible woman. 386 pounds invisible. Like, girl, you know they can see you, right?
No, but we have a way of being able to do that. We feel like we're invisible, and because people don't really know who we are, because we have not. Sometimes we haven't even discovered who we are ourselves.
That's my story.
And so because people really don't know who you are, they really don't see you. Right. They see a shell. Right. Okay, yeah, you can see the shell, but they don't see you. Right. And so you literally become invisible. So that is so, and women, we do that so often.
Not only do we become invisible, but it's kind of like the chameleon. Yes. Where we find ourselves mutating into whatever role someone puts us into, and that was my story. Yeah. Was, people would tell me who I was, and I would become that to the best of my ability. Tell me what I wasn't, and I wouldn't be those things, but never really figuring out, like, okay, let me plant my feet and figure out, no, this is who I am.
And either you take me for who I am, or you go somewhere else, and I'm cool with that.
And I'm good with that. And that was the first time I became invisible. Was when I really figured out who I am and what I stood for, what things are important to me, and what are my deal breakers.
Which is so important. Okay, so we're going to get to deal breakers too, because I want you to talk a little bit about that. But going back to who's Marci. So do you have siblings, children, all that?
Honey.
Look. I want to know Marci. Look.
So real quick, I'll tell you a story about, I have two daughters. They're 20, she's going to kill me if I lie, 27 and 24. Because I have to subtract, like, my birth year. Right. This whole mathematical calculation.
See, isn't she fabulous for a 27? Did you say 27?
Yeah, I have a 27-year-old.
Fabulous. somebody today. My youngest son is turning 27, and someone at church was like, "What? Sister Sharice has a 27-year-old?" I said, "I don't know how that's possible because I'm only 29."
Right, how does that happen? It's amazing.
Okay, tell us the story.
Okay, so besides my 2 daughters, so short story about my family. I come from this really unique situation. So picture 1960-ish. I'm not going to say the actual year, 1960-ish. I'm born.
Okay.
White mom, black dad. Come later on, I find out dad was married. Mom didn't know. Dad denies me my whole life. That's my reality, right? Stepdad, alcoholic, domestic violence, through my teen years, and then run away from home, all this stuff. But the whole time I knew that I had a brother who was 8 years older than me. And the only thing that I knew about my dad and my brother was they had the same name, so I knew what their names were.
Right.
And that my dad didn't love me. He didn't want me. And so that was a formula for disaster as far as some self-esteem issues go. But the sibling piece, so I'm 20-something years old, working in a bank, and this guy is coming in who kind of looks like me a little bit. I'm looking at his ID. I'm like, well, you're 8 years older than me. You have the same name as my dad. I wonder.
Get out of here.
Serious. True story. So I wait on this guy for about 2 years as a customer.
2 years?
And so one day he comes in and I'm just like, look. And I said, I have something to say to you. And I don't really know how you're going to take it. And he's standing like literally. So we're in a bank.
Right.
He's my customer.
Yes.
I was a teller supervisor
Yes.
at the time. And so he's like, okay. And I said, I think you're my brother. Crickets.
Did his mouth drop like mine?
Yes. And then he goes, that's not possible. I don't have a sister. And I said, oh, yes, you do. And you're looking at her. Now, mind you, I've never met him from Adam. This is all based off.
And he never saw the resemblance in you two. He never paid attention to it.
So I never talked to him again. He tells me that's not possible. I don't have a sibling. Never talked to him again. He never came back into the bank. He disappeared. So the next day I got a call from my biological father. So I know he took the message back to senior. And my brother is a junior, so that's why there was really no question about the names. And then you were exactly 8 years older than me. So I get a call from my dad, and he says he wants to meet with me. I'm 20-something years old. I'm engaged. I said, okay. Well, he said, I'll call you tomorrow. We'll set up a time. I said, all right, great. Go home, tell my then fiance, hey, weird thing happened. Hey, well, I worked today. Guess what I did? And so my fiance said, well, I want to meet him too. So the next day my dad calls and he says, where do you want to meet at? Lunch? You want to do dinner? Do you want to come to my house? I said, I'm come to your house. I don't know you.
You're not getting me to your house. We meet in a public place, right?
What you're on. There's restaurants all around here, so we go there. And I said, oh, and by the way, my fiance wants to meet you too. He said, oh, it's one of those. Let me call you back. Never heard from him again. True story. And so that just reaffirmed everything that I believed about myself and my value and my worth, right? That if your daddy doesn't love you, then no one's going to love you. And why would he accept my brother, but he won't accept me? Now, mind you, I didn't know the whole marriage piece. So fast forward 20-some years and the invention of Facebook.
Right.
And so I get a friend request from my brother. I'm like, accept it. Okay, this is weird. And so we never really talked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he just kind of watched me for a while. And I was already in Arizona at the time. And so he was coming to Tucson to golf. And so I sent a message and I said, I saw on your Facebook that you're going to be in Tucson. So remember, you have a sister in Phoenix. And I'll see if I can work it out. Never heard from him. So I'm like, okay.
And he came.
He came to Tucson, did what he had to do. Never heard from him. And so then, well, let me back up. So before I moved to Arizona, a cousin on my dad's side got married to one of my best friends. Weird situation, long story. I told you it was Iowa.
Yeah, right.
Don't
She like, don't judge. This is a non-judgment zone. It's all good. It's all good.
We don't don't have time. Let me tell you the whole story.
This is a non-judgment zone. It's all good, right?
So at the wedding, I meet this girl, and my brother's there, and he said, "Hey, I just want you to meet. This is your little sister." My what? So she's 11 years younger than me. That was the first time I met her. The only time I met her, she's looking like everybody got to be on drugs.
Right. She's like, this is crazy.
Sister.
Right.
Only thing she knows is him. And we all three have different mothers. And so, back to the story, back in Arizona, a couple years later, he sends me a message and he said, "Hey, I have a buddy that lives out there that I went to college with. I'm going to come see him. I'd like to meet you while I'm there." And this was in 2000, 17? So, 2011 maybe. It was 2011. And so he said, I said, okay. And so we set up this time, and I make this dinner, and he's coming to the house. I'm so excited because all my life, like that's all I wanted was a sibling. Like I was an only child, and all I wanted is this big brother of mine. And so he's coming to the house, and he knocks on the door, and he's like there, and I'm looking at like boy version of me. And so he comes in, and we're talking, and then all of a sudden he said, "Oh my God," he said, "Do you know?" He said, "First of all, let me apologize. I wasn't ready back then." He said, "I've never forgot that conversation. I've never stopped thinking about you ever since then." And he said, "I came here to Arizona to ask you to take a DNA test." And he said, "But after sitting here with you for the last hour or so, that's not necessary.
I don't need it."
He said, "You and Crystal," which is my little sister, he said, "You guys are identical." Now, mind you, we're 11 years apart, different mothers. Looks-wise, mannerisms, the way we laugh, like even the selection of our glasses, everything, right? He said, "I don't need it." He's like, "You left this." He said, "It's there." He's like, "I don't need." And so he went back and he told everybody on my dad's side, like, "No, it's real. Like I met her in person."
Right. It's
and
real
so,
deal.
Yeah. So he goes back, tells little sis. She sends me a Facebook message and said, "Yeah. So I heard you met Jay, and so I heard you're not this crazy bleep after all."
So the dad was probably telling them that you're crazy and on one.
I don't know where she ever got that. We've never ever talked about it because I laughed because her message was something I would have sent to somebody. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, this is real.
That's my sister.
This is real.
We're in the family."
Yeah, completely. And so ever since then, now I have a fantastic relationship with my siblings, and my dad still denies me. But
your siblings have accepted you, but your dad still denies you and doesn't.
Matter of fact, he didn't talk to my brother for about 5 years after our initial reconciliation. He didn't talk to my brother.
But here's one of the things that I commend you on, because no matter their reaction, the reaction from your brother, from your little sister, no matter their reaction, you were still so open to knowing your siblings. And so no matter how they rejected you, you were still so open, because some people would have become bitter, right? You walk away, you disappear, you stop talking to me, you're denying me, I'm like done. And some people would have become bitter, and you stayed open, and God was able to reconcile and bring at least the siblings together. And that's amazing.
Well, and I always say, God's always going to balance your books for you.
Absolutely.
And so we're gonna do some good stuff, we're gonna do some bad stuff, and at the end of the day, God's going to reconcile stuff for us. He's going to balance your books. And to that point, I had to learn through my journey with my stepdad, being molested when I was 12, a whole lot of things that I had to learn to forgive. And I had to realize that what you do based on the information that you have at the time and the skill set that you have. It has nothing to do with me. And so I can extend a level of forgiveness that way. And I just did a video about this the other day, that forgiveness on the front side means that I'm free on the back side.
Yes.
I don't leave stuff unsaid. I don't leave a lot of things on the table.
That's well said. Matter of fact, say it again.
When I forgive on the front side, I don't feel obligated on the back side. And same thing happens. People come in and out of your lives, and different experiences happen. And we might fall off. But I always try and leave the situation in a way that I'm okay with how I left it.
Yes.
Now, you might not like how I left it, and other people might say I handled it wrong.
But I'm okay.
But in here,
yes,
I'm okay, and
which is what matters.
Right, I'm comfortable with that. So that if and when you come out of hibernation and circle back, I extended the forgiveness I have, so there's no obligation for me to open that door again. So you can reach out and say, hey, let's sit down and talk. I don't have that sense of obligation where like, oh, I really I should talk to them. No, I'm good. I really don't. And it doesn't say that I don't do that, but for
you
the
have
most
choices
part,
because of how you left it. So you now, because you don't have any guilt, you don't have any, well, I should have said this or I shouldn't have said that, so let me sit down or let me entertain. Right. You now are in a position to say, you know what, I'm cool. We can keep it just like it is, and you just keep doing you, and I'm going to keep doing me. Or you can say, you know what, I'll sit down with you. It gives you, your posturing has now changed.
Right.
And you've taken your power away from somebody else through forgiveness.
That's the big
so because you forgave them and you're free now, right, on the back end, you hold your power.
Yep.
And so many people give their power away.
And
that's why,
yes,
and that's why people feel obligated. Now, when you come back around, I feel like I got to sit down with you, or I have to come face to face. Even if I don't want to, I now feel obligated.
Right.
And that's because somebody else is holding your power.
Right.
Okay, this is so good. So this just leads us into, and I want to make sure that we talk about deal breakers and everything, but I believe when I started following you, I want to say maybe on LinkedIn, you were doing Life on Mars.
Mm-hmm. I always do Life on Mars.
Okay, so
that's where I live.
Yes, so that's your blog?
Live Life on Mars is my blog. Live Life on Mars really kind of pairs up with the whole red bottom attitude. And what Live Life on Mars represents for me is the freedom to be able to be authentic and do it my way. And so it's a play off of, my nickname is Mars, so like Marci. So Mars is my nickname. I spell it with a Z because that's different, right? Because I don't want to be. I was born to be different. I wasn't born to fit in, and because I just kind of do things my own way. Whether it's good for me, as long as it's good for me and it plays to my happiness, that's the world that I play in. And so, kind of like the planets are off on their own. So it's the Live Life on Mars, and it's really my world, my life, my rules, and that reminds me.
I love that.
That reminds me I'm always in control. Like everything that I do is a decision and it's a choice. Like I don't have to do it. And people are saying, oh, you don't have a choice. I didn't have a choice. You've always had a choice. Now the other choices might have sucked more than the one that you picked.
But you had a choice.
You had a choice.
You had to choose, and you may have chosen the lesser of the evils, or you may have chose the greater, but you made that choice.
You made that choice.
And our choices shape our destiny.
Yes.
And so we have to be very cognizant when we're making those choices, because whatever you choose, no matter how great or not so great, is going to shape your destiny.
Right.
So there's just so much. Okay, we're going to have to do like a number 2 and number 3 because there is so much with Marci. So when we were at this luncheon, you were talking about, and hopefully this leads into your first book and the red bottom attitude and everything we're going to talk about, but we have to get this into. So at the luncheon, you, I think, had everybody in the room in tears. I mean, it was mixed emotions. Right. I mean, part of it was like, yes, your story just so invigorates women. But then there's also this component of the story that you shared that I think it wasn't a dry eye in the room. As you were talking about being in an abusive relationship, that part of your life, how does that fit in with what you do? And can you talk about that as you take us into, as we go into Life on Mars, and as we start talking about your movement and your mission and how you're just impacting the world?
So, domestic violence is, we know, a worldwide epidemic, right? And for me, I grew up in an abusive household. My mom was abused from the time I was about 5 or 6 until I was 13 when I ran away from home. And I told her I'm not coming back as long as he's there. And so I kind of decided for myself at 13, I'm not going to be that girl.
Right.
That's not going to happen to me. That's not going to be my story. I'm not doing that. And so I always have lived my life in a way that I would, because what my mom would always tell me was, I don't know if I can do it on my own. I don't know if I can afford a house on my own. I don't know. And so for me, the track that laid for me in my mind was, you got to always be able to sustain yourself. And so, there's this whole debate about the independent woman and everybody's dependent at some levels and whatever. Right. So we won't go into all that.
Right.
But for my purposes, financially,
you was like, my goal
was I'm not going to find myself in a situation where I have to stay with an abuser because I can't financially afford to live on my own and make another decision.
Yes.
So that really moved me for career. But what I didn't understand was how much damage that pathology had done to me.
Yes.
As
the seeds had already been planted.
Yes. The model was there. And my self-esteem was in the toilet because of, that situation, being molested, being denied by my first boyfriend, my dad, like
a lot of rejection.
Rejection and abandonment. Like that was my history. And then you pile onto that, the abuse with my stepdad and then being molested myself. So I was like, okay, I'll always be able to take care of myself. And fortunately, that was the good part that came out of it. Mm-hmm. But because the psychological pathologies were there, I found myself in an abusive relationship. And I didn't because I had come from an emotionally and psychologically abusive relationship for 3 years. I just got out of that, met this other guy, and I was enough. All of a sudden, I was never good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, didn't make enough money. Like, it didn't matter. I was never enough over here. And all of a sudden, over here, I'm on a pedestal, right? And so that was really cool to me. And so because he said all those things, it made me feel all these ways that I hadn't felt ever in my life.
This is the one.
I ignored the signs, and there were plenty of signs when I looked back and I really broke down the situation. But interestingly, the game changer for me afterward was when I did domestic abuse survivors class at Fresh Start Women's Foundation. So if anybody is dealing with that, Fresh Start Women's Foundation, if you're here locally, tons of free programs, great resource for you.
They're huge, awesome resource. Awesome.
They're wonderful. And then I went to counseling. And it was in counseling that my counselor said to me, so I'm explaining all this to her, and she says, and counselors are, they're all laid back and all comfortable, whatever. And you're like, I'm crying.
Right. It's like, where's the tissue? Right.
And she said to me, so let me understand this. And this was a game changer for me. She said, let me understand this. So you were in this emotionally abusive relationship. You were never enough. He told you you were more than enough. And so you sold your soul to feed your ego.
Oh my God. Okay.
It gives me chills.
Okay.
Every time I say that, I still get chills.
Okay. I just want to get up and I could just cut a rug just on that. Okay. All credit to Marci. So, cause y'all gonna hear that again. I'll always give you credit. It is yours. I will always give you credit for saying it. That is a game changer. You were in this emotionally abusive relationship here, emotionally, mentally,
everything but physical.
Right. And then you get into a relationship where
3 weeks later, because I didn't learn about myself at that point.
Wow.
So I always had to have a man around.
He's telling you you're more than enough. You're everything that I need. You are, you're
the most beautiful girl in the world. I got the best thing in the valley. Like, you name it.
And he was telling you.
He wanted to dress the same colors as me when we went out. See, that was phenomenal. No, that's crazy.
And so she said, you sold your soul to feed your ego.
And when I tell you, Sharice, I sat there and I think I spent the whole rest of my session crying. Like, I could not even hardly formulate words because I had always been that person who felt like my integrity and my character was my definer. And so when she said that, first of all, I couldn't deny that was the case because my core belief system said, because he was married. My core belief system said, you don't do that. That's violation number one. You don't do that. And then when his wife eventually found out, we continued our relationship. And so you don't do that to a sister. So those were things that I firmly believed, because I had been on the other side. I had been in that woman's shoes.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I had been cheated on in a relationship before.
Yes.
And so my belief system was so strong that that's wrong, but I was able to justify it. Like, well, if it's not going to be me, it'd be somebody. Like, he's not cheating just because I'm that great. I'm not that naive. But when that psychologist said,
I messed up.
Let me understand this. You sold your soul to feed your ego because I violated everything that I believed in and everything that I thought was right in order to get that good, warm feeling. And then lo and behold, everything that made and created that good, warm feeling ended up being abusive to me.
Okay, I hope you wrote that down. I told you she was going to drop nuggets. Somebody, I just hope you wrote it down, because that is a life-changing. I always talk about changing your thought DNA. We have to be able to change our thought DNA. If we don't change our thought DNA, then we stay stuck in the cycle of dysfunction. And that's why we're in the cycle, because we still have the same old mindset. We're still believing the same old, talk, the same jargon, the same core beliefs. So we got to change our thought DNA, and then we can start breaking those cycles of dysfunction. Right. That is a game changer in helping you to change your thought DNA, because that's really what that statement did. Right. It went, woo-hoo. Your mind said, what? Wait a minute.
It broke me down to a level that I could no longer deny. And that was the thing, because I was very good at giving you the best argument and justification, and being able to explain whatever situation that I found myself in. But there was no denying, because in my core, I believed that what I was doing was wrong. But I continued to do it and to hurt another person, knowing full well that I was hurting another person, and that's not right.
You made the dysfunction normal. Right. You normalized it.
And it was that organized chaos that I was used to living in, a chaotic environment. And so that chaos didn't sway me one way or the other. And now, honey, you bring some drama towards me.
Look, I'm not the one. They gonna find out real quick. It's like, this ain't the same chick. This ain't, don't come to me that way. So, okay, so you see why we were all, she just had us on the edge of our seat. It wasn't a dry eye in the house. We were like laid out. But at the same time, you didn't share that statement. You just shared the overall abusive relationship. But I think what is so, how did you get out of that relationship?
Okay. So at the point that happened, like I said, I'd always financially made myself secure. So I didn't live with him. We didn't share children. We weren't married. So a lot of the things that keep women tied in abusive relationships, I didn't have. Okay. So that's why whenever I talk about domestic violence, I say all the time, I'm one of the lucky ones. Yes. I'm one of the lucky few that didn't have all these other hosts of other factors, and the abuse wasn't significant enough that I couldn't overcome. In a relatively short period of time. It took me about 2 years of a lot of self-work and therapy and support groups and stuff like that. But getting out of that was a matter of me getting out of the house. And the night that happened, he kicked in my door, beat me in my own house, held me hostage. I tried getting out several times, and all I can remember is the door would open about this much. And I could never seem to fit through. And then at one point I just got out. And I still don't remember, I still have a mark on my arm from the door being pressed up against me, right? Yeah. So honestly, it wasn't nothing but the grace of God that got me out of the house. And so I'm in the street, no shoes on. I'm on the phone calling one of my girlfriends, and she's freaking out. He thinks I'm on the phone calling 911, so I'm so freaked out. I didn't even know who to call. 911 wasn't even it didn't even register with me.
You called your girlfriend.
I called my girlfriend. And so I ended up leaving the house, going to her house, and she's an herbalist. And so G's making all these salves and putting all the stuff on my face, and busted lip, black eyes, and bruises everywhere, and all this stuff. And She walked in, I was standing in her bathroom, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I must have just had this look on my face. And she said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "No, I don't think I am." I said, "But I will be." And I said, "Because it's one thing that I know. It's one thing that I know, and that is that my God did not bring me out of that house for no reason."
Mm-hmm.
That's what I know. Because I don't know
Absolutely.
how I got out.
Absolutely.
So
It
I know
wasn't by
he
your
didn't bring
might.
me out.
Right.
He didn't bring me out for no reason.
Yeah.
I said, "Now I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know how long it's going to take, but something good's going to come out of this." And she's looking at me like, "You see your face, right?" Like,
Right.
I
Right.
don't know where all that
You see what I'm looking at. Right.
You see what I see?
Right. We looking in the same mirror and I'm
Right.
looking at you. You know?
Right. And so, but I firmly believed that. And so as I approached my healing journey, it was always from the perspective, and I was able to develop what is my message from this mess?
Yes.
And so as I approached my healing journey and I went on that, and I had that moment in the psychiatrist's office with the soul and the ego. And once I admitted that, I was like, okay. So now I figured out during my self-worth homework and my journey that I'm the problem. From all my past relationships, there's one common denominator. Me. And so bad news is I was the problem. The good news is I was the problem, so I could fix it.
Absolutely. You have control over
Right.
you.
Right. And so that really was the beginning of me figuring out. I still didn't really know what I wanted to do with it. I just knew that God brought me through it and gave me a testimony that was undeniable, and it was universal.
Yes.
So if you got a universal testimony, then at some point you have to share it. And Pastor used to always say, your gifts and talents were given to you not for you to keep, but in order for you to share, right?
Yes.
So if that's what I have the gift
Right.
and talent for, I didn't recognize that was a gift.
Right.
I was afraid to be a speaker. I mean, I'm not going to share when I can't talk to people, right? And that's what I mean. So when I say that my faith, that my God, my daddy in heaven did all of it, he did all of it. Because I used to be that sweat lump in my throat and crying. And ever since that happened, I've been completely comfortable on a stage telling even the most intimate personal details about myself. And so,
because you know you went through all of that for a purpose.
Right.
So if you kept your mouth closed, if you didn't allow him to use you, then that means all the rejection, all the abuse, everything that you went through was for nothing.
Right.
And once you come into yourself and who you are, and you start coming into your purpose, and you start understanding your destiny, and you understand that there's a promise that has been granted to you. There's a promise over your life.
Promise for you to prosper.
Absolutely.
And that's in my first book.
Absolutely.
That's the scripture.
You step right into what God has for you. I share what you just said because most people don't believe me when I say the very same thing. I'm really a shy, introverted person. You know, I'm good over in a corner. I'm that person. People used to ring the doorbell when I was a little girl. I go run and hide under my parents' bed, and they would be like, "Where's Sharice? Where's Sharice?" And I would be under their bed. I was like done. I didn't want to be around people. I am cool over in a corner somewhere. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. It's like I enjoy my company, and I can just sit in a corner and be happy-go-lucky, not say a word. I don't have to be out front. But because of the promise, because of the passion, because of the purpose and what God has for me, it causes me to be out front. It causes me to be center stage, you know. And so when you see me in that realm, know that that's not me.
Right.
Because Sharice will be, over somewhere applauding you, working behind the scenes, making everything happen. That's not me. That's the Christ in me. That's the mission. That's the vision. That's the passion. That's what you see. So I relate to that. So I have her book, so I could just talk to her all day. Talk to us about the red bottom attitude, and let's talk about love miscarriage.
Okay, so red bottom attitude is like, it is that not about it's not about the shoes. So
Right.
people hear it and they think Louboutins, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the shoes. It's about how a nice pair of shoes make you feel. It's about how a matching bra and panty set makes you feel. You put that new dress on and you feel super fly, right? A red bottom attitude means you can do that all mentally. It's not about what you wear. It's not about your size. It's not about how you look. It's about how you feel about yourself.
It's a mindset.
Right. And so the actual definition of red bottom attitude is a state of mind or a code of conduct personified by liberated women who exude courage, class, and confidence despite seemingly insurmountable obstacles. Because they're not insurmountable. You got this, boo. And so that literally is red bottom attitude. And for me, I was like, how can I reach, I needed something catchy. I needed something that I could buy into. Live Life on Mars is my thing, and that's my heart, my world, my life, my rules. People are identifying with that, but really, like, what is it? Like, what would make me? And I'm like, that's the thing, is it's about how I feel about myself. So when somebody sees me walk into a room and they're like, oh, she got it all together. No, I might have just been crying in my car 5 minutes before, but you're not gonna know.
Because I got a red bottom attitude. Right.
And so I say jokingly, I can be barefoot and broke, but you never know because I got a red bottom attitude.
I love hashtag red bottom attitude. I need y'all hashtagging that. Red bottom attitude. Okay, I love it.
Yeah, so we did.
Yeah,
this is a whole movement.
Yes.
So Red Bottoms and Rosé is a monthly workshop that I do where we get together and we have wine, hors d'oeuvres, and a little mini workshop. You got Red Bottom Boss series, so I'm doing like a mastermind series, so to speak, workshop series on fitness, finances, relationship, and life, and about changing your thought process. So how do you overcome some of these things? So finding the things that are pain points for women and letting you see that you already got this. I don't have to tell you nothing new under the sun. You already got it. And so then the love miscarriage, yes, that's my baby.
So this is new.
That's new.
And so give us just a taste of what we can expect. It says, love miscarriage, recovering the broken pieces of your heart when love dies too soon. And there's the book and there's the workbook. They go hand in hand. So just
okay, so I know we're running out of time. Love Miscarriage is a story of Jenna. It's her journal, and it talks about Jenna's experience where she goes in, she meets the love of her life, and he makes all the promises in the world, and they have this whirlwind romance.
So it's written like a novel.
It's her journal.
Okay.
So you get to actually read through her journal.
Okay.
And she meets this wonderful man. They fall madly in love, and then he walks out, says, "Babe, I gotta go pay the band," and he never comes back. And she was planning on moving, like, cross country and all this stuff. Like, they had all these plans laid out, and he just disappeared. And so it's her journal, and it talks about how do you pull that all back together and not internalize it? How do you overcome those heartbreaks? Because we all get our heart broken every now and again. You know what I mean? And so that's not new. But really, how to get over that without internalizing it and letting it keep you in a state of paralysis, or so that you're making the next one pay for the last one. And so the term love miscarriage uses the premise of like a pregnancy miscarriage. Yes. So you get pregnant and you envision what the baby's going to look like from start to finish, barrettes and bows and basketballs and everything. And then you have a miscarriage and everything you thought you knew is gone. And the same thing works with love. You meet someone, and as little girls, we're taught by Disney that there's a Prince Charming out there. You just gotta find him.
That's good.
So Disney lied.
No, I found my Prince Charming. Look, I got my black man. That's my black man. He's my not Superman, not Spider-Man. That's my black man. So he came right in with the Book of Sharice and hooked me up. So I know that your book launch is coming up.
Yeah, book release party is next Sunday from 5 to 8.
Where?
At Sozo Coffee House, 1982 North Alma School Road. It's Alma School and Warner in Chandler, Arizona. So 5 to 8, we're having spoken word by Christian Cavanis. Terry Tobin is going to be singing. Dwayne Bluestein is going to be the MC, so that's going to be crazy.
Right.
Free food, drinks, cake. There'll be books available, red bottom t-shirts for sale. So I just really want everybody to come out and party and celebrate and have a good time, buy the book, and let's just do this thing.
Tell us again, next Sunday.
Next Sunday, March 26th from 5 to 8 at Sozo Coffee House.
And is the book already online, or will it be online after launch?
No. The book is actually on my website. You can get it there. You can also get it on Amazon, and you can get it there. And there's a special drawing for individuals. So if you buy it on, we're running out of time now, so I'm not going to get it in time, but you can buy it online, bring it with you to the book signing, and then I'll sign it then. But then you can also get into a special drawing. But I don't know if you can get it in time if you order it.
What is your website?
MarciBatiste.com.
Woo, woo, woo. Okay, so I know we done gave y'all a lot. This is rich. So you all better follow Marci, get with her, come out to the book signing, get your book, and you need to connect with her blog, connect with anything that she's doing. Did you just hear? And this is just like, an hour. But her strategies and what she has going on, it will help you transform your thought DNA, and it'll help you be able to go to the next level in your life and along your journey. Okay. So my co-executive producer is telling me we're almost at time, but we got to get in our aha nuggets. Okay. So we're going to do our aha nuggets, and then I have a quick announcement for you, and then Marci's going to give us last words. Okay. So first aha nugget. What brings you the greatest joy?
Letting somebody else know that they're always more than, they're never less than.
That is the, I think that's the first time we've had that answer. I love that. What is your greatest accomplishment to date?
Having my daughter say, that's my mama. I'm proud of her. Because they never used to do that. They hated me when I got divorced. So now when they say, oh yeah, they used to hate them. You look like your mom. No, I don't. Now they're like, I look like my mom.
Oh, okay. Tissue. Okay. Or just do the look. Over cry.
Look up and to the
left.
left.
Here we go. There we go.
Up and to the left.
I love that. What would you say to this point has been your greatest missed opportunity?
Not saying yes enough. I was too focused on the how. And I had a mentor tell me one time that, no, what you need to do is just say yes and then figure out how. Because once you've said yes, you're committed, you're all in, you're going to figure it out.
Right.
But if you don't say yes to begin with,
then you don't have
any motivation to figure it out.
That's good. Strategy.
Bankable success.
Look, I'm just saying. What has been your greatest obstacle to get to this point right now in your life?
Forgiving myself for not loving myself. That was hard. It took me a good 2 years to really come to terms with it was okay to just not be okay.
Somebody just got, some shit change just got broke on some people when you said that.
So.
Last aha nugget. What do you want your legacy to speak?
My legacy, wow. My legacy. I want, at my funeral, for everyone to have a party and say, hell yeah, job well done, sis.
Oh, yes! Love it! Oh my god. Okay, this has been so rich. So Marci, think about your last words. You're going to have closing words. I'm so full today. I mean, when you talk about the science of being phenomenal, you have nailed it. Somebody should be shouting. I should have had my shoe over here so I could have threw it across the room. It's been good. Okay. So I have to see if I can even make this announcement. So this just flows right in to our 6th annual Phenomenal Woman Empowerment Conference. That's coming up Saturday, May 6th. Our theme is all I do is win. Win. And that's what you hear with this red bottom attitude, everything Marci's talked about. She's winning. Despite all the garbage, despite all the situations, the circumstances, the abuse, everything that you went through, you lost to win. Right. And so it's that winning mindset. So you got to join us. All I do is win. Saturday, May 6th, we're going to be at the Arizona Grand Resort. Check-in starts at 9:30. The conference is going to start at 10. We have phenomenal, did I say phenomenal? You know I said phenomenal. We have phenomenal speakers coming in. We have Mrs. Rebecca Cruz. She is a song recording artist. She's executive producer. She's an actress. She does some missionary work. She is just phenomenal in her right. But her story, when you get into that room and you hear how she talks about winning and what has gone in, the strategies that have gone into her life for her to win, and she's winning on a whole nother level, you will be amazed. And it will challenge you and cause you to take your next level game to a whole nother level. And then we have dear heart phenom herself, Bishop Latrice Juster, coming out of Tucson, Arizona. And when you start talking about winning, she is the first in so many areas in Arizona, in Tucson specifically, but internationally with the full gospel denomination and just everything that she's doing. And she has a book, I Live With No Excuses. And when you talk about winning, that is a woman who is on fire, who is winning. Again, at a whole nother level. So there's people who are coming into this conference that are speaking life and they're speaking winning strategies to help us play at a different level in this game so that we're all winning together. Because it's not enough for just you to win. It's not enough for me to win. We all need to win. We got to all be at the top because that's truly how we win.
Right, absolutely.
If you're winning and I'm not winning, it's really not a win.
It's an abundant life.
Look,
there's room enough for all of us to win.
Yes. And so that's what this conference is all about. We're going to be celebrating. We're going to have a DJ. We have a VIP ticket, so you can do a VIP add-on to your general or late registration. And we're going to have an exclusive meet and greet, a deep dive. We're going to have some food. It's going to be a celebration, but I'm telling you, you're going to walk away with some winning strategies. So you want to get registered. We have a new website. So our new website is mypwen.online. So you can go there, you can get registered. You want to be in the room, you want to get registered, you want to make sure you have a seat. And look, if you really want to win, you want to do that VIP add-on so that you have guaranteed a seat down front and that you have access to the exclusive meet and greet with our speakers and our conference participants. So make sure you get registered. If you have questions, holler at your girl. Let me know so I can get those answered for you. We want to see you in the house because all we do is win, 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 win. Did I say win? Win.
Well, I hear the song I hear it.
Well, and we have a special treat for you. I done kept this under wraps, but we got a special treat that's going to blow y'all away when it comes to that song. So you want to come out and you want to join us. So thank you for being with us today on Phenomenology, the talk show. Sister?
I would say my closing thoughts would be that if there's somebody out there who is struggling and you feel like sometimes the whole world's closing in on you, or you feel like you're not enough, that just remembering that you are more than enough, and becoming part of like a red bottom movement or a phenomenology, and really beginning to see yourself as a winner. That there's a lot of women out there that have already been through the struggles that you're going through,
Yes.
and have already given and laid out a roadmap that's okay for you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. I did a post the other day that said, "Don't reinvent the wheel, daughter. I've already had that done for you." And God said that to me, and it makes me smile when I think about that, because you are more than enough. You've always been more than enough. You're stronger than you think and more resilient than they thought. And it's just a matter of you getting your mindset shifted so that you actually believe that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I love you for coming and just being so open and sharing from your heart. And it's greater than I could have even thought it was going to be today. And so life-changing. And I know that you've been blessed. And I know that you're going to share this. And we're just going to spread this red bottom attitude.
I should have brought you a shirt today.
Look, I'm going to get my shirt. I'm going to get my shirt. And just spread it, because every woman needs to hear this message. And I wasn't supposed to say anything, but that's how good. Last word, we love you. We will talk to you soon. God bless. Have a fabulous week.